Hello, everybody. This is Ghost from Blades and Blasters. We're going to be playing a bit of System-Lite today. It has been a while since the last System-Lite game. This is our homebrew system that we made. If you're not familiar, it is pretty much just D6s to determine things that happen. Very straightforward. We do have target numbers and things, and this has undergone a fair bit of changes. But this is at its heart a rolls light RP heavy system that we developed for just one shots, things like that. We're actually going to be doing a reboot of an old System-Lite game. Actually, the original System-Lite game was originally known as Dark Voyage, now known as Dark Expanse. With me tonight is a new cast of players, none of whom went through the previous game at all. We've got Matt playing Captain Surya Oso. We have Slip playing Kathleen Bonner. We have Gru playing as Owen. And Wanderer, a new addition to Blades and Blasters family, is going to be playing Craig Fitz, security officer. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe at Blades and Blasters for more similar content, character creation, things like that, and occasional drunk talk about RPGs and systems. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read off just a brief handout here, and then we will get right into it. Everybody see that? Should be for the pinnacle.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to my game. I hope you all enjoy yourselves in this sci-fi adventure. The year is 2129. Humanity persists on Earth despite numerous attempts at self-destruction over a long and tumultuous history. The most recent horror man committed against one another is known as the Resources Wars. Food sources and watering pits turned into battlegrounds for lesser nation while the global powers fought for oil and precious metal. Nearly half of human population was obliterated as the Geneva Convention was thrown to the wind, and horrific violence was perpetuated by all sides against all opposition. The nations of the world stopped only just short of total annihilation, coming to a peace agreement at 0 hours each world leader hovered their hand above radioactive destruction. Against all odds, humanity not only survived the greatest world crisis since World War II, but find themselves thriving under the unified Earth government. But that is neither here nor there. The Resource Wars ended nearly a decade ago. While the UEG has illusions that it is control of the planet, true power lies with the many competing mega corporations that remain in control of vital resources. Anyone can make a living in post-resource war era, but big money is with the megacorps. While there is no longer an immediate danger of resources on Earth, the proverbial clock is still ticking. If you can't find what you need on one planet, you take it from another. Space travel in the solar system has been possible for years. However, space beyond our system is now possible thanks to a convention of the world's brightest minds. This collective, driven by the UEG, laid out prototypes for warp travel and plasma power generation necessary to propel the devices. While the UEG is still conducting trials, the megacorps already utilize experimental devices in the private sector, for better or worse. You are all members of a spacefaring research and exploration vessel known as the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle belongs to GenCorp, a major player among megacorps on Earth. Each has a story, a life. This mission brings you all together. Profit and personal achievement is to be had. But first, you need to attend the briefing. So let me get things updated here. And I will bring everyone's characters out. Does everyone have vision?
I do not.
Not? Okay.
Yeah,
let me
I'm not
bring you
seeing
all
it
out.
either.
Nope.
Let me go ahead and make sure that that's off. Better?
Better.
Yes.
Very good. Dr. Bonner and Owen. All right, so in the mess hall, the entire crew is gathered. Right now, nothing official is going on. Everyone is enjoying a nice meal that was made by the warp engineer of the ship, as well as the de facto chef, Ronnie Johnson. Let's go ahead and people can do some introductions. We will go starting with the captain. or no, we can go captain last. Sorry, we'll go with the doctor, Dr. Bonner. Slip, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Kathleen Bonner, medical specialist. Graduated top of my class at Greenville Tech with a master's in biology and minors in, well, to name them all would sound boastful. I've been all over Earth, in the areas that don't invite tourism mostly. We humans have not lost our knack for destroying what's most beautiful, both on the planet and in the soul. After seeing what I've seen, hearing the stories from survivors, makes me wonder if I have any soul left. If I do, I can't feel it. So no soul, no point in working for nickels to save the world. After my contract with Doctors Without Borders ended, I signed on with GenCorp. Am I making the universe a better place? Questionable. But it comes with good pay and benefits. That's what matters, right? This is where Owen enters the picture, Owen Krasnow. Rich boy, a scion of one of the leaders of industry. Somehow also a decent person. I honestly thought he was the one, but I should have known better. People always let you down, in the end. Just takes the right catalyst for the cracks to show. For us, it was the baby. No, actually, I don't want to talk about that. We'll just leave it at a catalyst. Working together on the Pinnacle would be unbearable if I still cared. But I have lots of experience now in putting feelings in a box and tucking them away on the high shelf in a dark closet. After all, there's still the work. And that will have to be enough. Because it's all I've got.
Very good. And let's go ahead and to the new guy, Wanderer. Go ahead and Craig Fitz.
Craig Fitz, security officer. I'm been here on the Pinnacle short amount. Yeah, I think I'm a pretty good security officer. Before this, I was a bodyguard. And you know what? I was a pretty good bodyguard. Before that, I was a copper. Oh, God-forsaken inner city. Oh, that was hell.
But a pretty good copper.
But a pretty good copper. But you know what? What I'm really good at, I'm never going to make money out unless the ladies start paying me by the hour. Or unless breweries start sponsoring me and the lads to go out on the lash. Either way, until then, I'm a security officer. And a pretty good one.
Very good. Go ahead, Owen.
I'm Owen Krasnow. Some of you know me better than others. I've been with Captain Oso for 2 years. I'm proud of my service on the Pinnacle. I do the best I can. And if you don't think that's good enough, go to hell.
Very good. And Captain.
Captain Surya Oso paces the floor in the mess hall. She has one hand behind her back, another wrapped around what looks like a travel mug of sorts. Occasionally, as she paces, waiting for the rest of her crew to show up in the mess hall, she takes a drink. She's gotten used to the taste of straight rum after all these years. It's better than falling asleep and dreaming at this point, with the nightmares from the resource war always coming back to haunt her. So she's gotten used to the drinking and captaining the ship at the same time. She's damn good at it. Over 80 different exploration trips under GenCorp, including salvage, mining, exploration, and research. Oso's done pretty much everything. Done it all. Only a few of the crew have been with her for, well, as long as this. Kathleen, Owen, Jeffrey, Ronald. 2 years so far. Many come, many go. But Oso, she stays. Forever pacing. Forever drinking out of the same mug. And finally, once everyone has assembled in the mess hall, she stops. She puts her foot up on one of the bars, takes another drink of her mug. And after she empties it, she tosses it to the side, it clattering to the floor. Alright, ladies and gents, glad you're finally out here. We've got a few things to talk about. Obviously to do with our next mission. She sniffs and wipes her nose. Before we start, anyone got any questions?
Got any more of that booze?
And she raises an eyebrow. I don't know what you're talking about. She looks at you. Looks to be kind of trying to remember your name for a moment. Fitz, right?
Yes, Captain.
Good. Any real questions?
Not until we know exactly what we're being assigned to, Captain.
Of course. And she takes her foot off the bar, and she starts pacing up in this hall. She's not looking at any of the individuals, any of her crewmen, as she speaks, more just speaking in general to the air. This mission's, as usual, recovery for Gen Corp. We're gonna be going to asteroid field in parsec 76b, far edge of the solar system. Apparently, according to Gen Corp, it's there. Now, seems that the resource is being referred to as Compound 76b to keep things pretty simple, nothing complicated. I know you probably would know, Bonner, but for the rest of us, it's simple. Payouts, $3 million to be dispersed at about 20% to me. Rest of y'all. Mr. James Krause is a specialist in asset recovery this time. And he's going to be collecting the substance on approach. And it's going to be contained in the cargo area, and I would like you to ask that no one try and expose the compound to any air or bare skin, as I must remind you about the company policies and protocols of handling dangerous and toxic substances, to wear a suit, wear gloves, and not be a fucking idiot. Are we clear?
What does Dr. Bonner know about Compound 76B?
You have never heard of it. Going your information or anything you would have had for this mission, a lot of things were not revealed to the crew immediately.
So Dr. Bonner is staring at her tablet. She pushes her glasses high on the bridge of her nose, her brows furrowing, looks up. Captain, I'm not familiar with Compound 76B. What were you told about it?
Like I said, we're keeping it simple, Bonner. We don't need to know anything about it besides that it's toxic, and there's special protocols in terms of handling it. We don't need to know any more or any less than that, as we're not getting paid for knowledge.
Yes, but what form is it going to take? How did it get there on the asteroid? I mean, these are things we're going to need to know in order to both locate and handle it safely.
And Captain Oso, she frowns. The one visible eyebrow that she has is Bonner. None of that was unfortunately revealed to me, Bonner. We don't need to know how it grows, or how it multiplies, or if it really can. We just know that it's going to be in the asteroid field, and Mr. Krause is going to handle retrieval. Mr. Krause, if you have anything to speak on the matter, that would be much appreciated.
And Kraus will kind of stand up in the back, as he's a rather large man, probably 6'3", 4", bearded. Has a fully bionic left arm. Well, what I'm aware, when I was contracted for this mission with you fine folks, I was told to bring equipment that would be suitable for both a solid and viscous material. Some for liquid as well, but they indicated more of the handling was going to be for a solid or a viscous goo-like material, my understanding.
But is this a biological substance? Or is this silicon-based? Look, I'm the medical officer here, and God forbid someone should be exposed. I need to know everything I can in order to potentially treat or quarantine the individual.
Well, unfortunately, Bonner, the Gen Corp has not given us enough real information in order to deal with this kind of thing, so let us all practice safe handling practices and not have to have someone injured. Are we clear? Owen, we clear? She looks over to Krasnow.
Aye, Captain. Aye, Captain.
The captain looks around to everyone else. Is there anything else?
I just want to state for the record that if anyone does become injured or sick because of this substance, I will not be held responsible. I will do everything I can, but not having the information provided, my hands are basically tied.
I understand, Bonner. And she massages her temples at that. I really do understand your frustrations, and I understand your, She takes a deep breath through her nose as she's trying to think of a word for it. Your sometimes atypical way of expressing yourself. But, like I said, unfortunately, I haven't been given enough information to assist you and to give you all the information you need if someone does become injured. Unless, Krause, you have anything that you'd like to share that I have no idea about.
Well, I wasn't given much more than that, to be honest, but I would note that it's, well, I'm just a deep space miner, but it's rather unlikely that there's anything biological about this. It's in deep space and cold, from my understanding.
Well, if it originated out here, I would agree. But thank you. Any insight that you have, I would welcome.
Of course, I think we're about to have a meal, my guess, but I'll be happy to get with you later if you want to talk further. He looks around rather nervously and sits down.
Oh, go ahead.
Bonner just sighs and leans back in her chair, looking resigned, shakes her head, and starts to eat the food.
Captain also goes over to where she tossed her cup, picking it back up, checking it, seeing if any new dents have been added to it, as this is not the first time. She brushes it off and looks to the rest of the crew before she briefly departs from the mess hall.
As Captain departs, you had all had some entrees and small meals lined up, and then you see on a cart Ronnie Johnson is wheeling in some more trays of food, and all it looks rather well done and prepared. Comes in. All right, guys, I got a whole lot in here, man. I was been cooking for the last 6 to 8 hours or something like that, just getting all this put together while we were all on the way out here. So you all dig in, have a good old time. And he just starts passing out these plates, and there's like, he's got like turkey, he's got gumbo. It's like a lot of Southern comfort food that he's passing out and just putting on the tables. Those of you that, if you wish to interact with one another for a bit here before we move forward, or any one of the other crew, now is the time to establish that.
Did the captain leave?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you
Yes.
said? Okay.
Just for now.
Bonner hardly looks at what she's eating, but can be clearly heard to mutter under her breath, "This is bullshit."
Fitz grabs a tray of food and comes over to join the doctor. Despite all the cues that he's getting from her that she, company's not welcome, he sits down and gives her a broad smile and goes, "So, that was a bit weird, right? Don't know anything about it, or they're not telling, or what? Just weird, right? If anyone gets exposed, what are we going to do? Space them?
It doesn't make sense. If they want us to do our job properly, then they should provide us with the information we need in order to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Still, I guess if we don't have that information, it's just doubly important to be careful, right?
Yes, obviously. It's just, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that these mega corporations are protecting their secrets above the health and safety of the people working for them. It's par for the course.
Yeah, the way they see it, we're just an asset like anything else, right? If it's worth more than we are, we don't get to know. I just say drink your way through it.
Well, I think one of us needs to stay sober in case something should happen. I'll let you do the drinking for the both of us.
Never on duty, but, Oh, still, don't exactly look a cheerful lot, do they? Looking around the hall.
What were you expecting?
Well, we're going to be stuck together for a while. May as well make the best of it, right?
She steals a glance over at Officer Krasnow, almost unconsciously, and then she looks back at Fitz. Actually, I find it's better to maintain a professional distance.
Fitz reads it completely wrong and sort of goes, "Oh, Krasnow, you come over? Can I have some food?"
She sighs deeply.
Oh, I'm kind of full, Fitz. I don't know if I can get much more down.
Oh, fair enough, mate.
Something on your mind?
No, it's just a bit tense in here, mate. I was just seeing if we could get a bit of conversation going, relax things a bit. Oh, yeah, I'm kind of losing my appetite too. Anyway, thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Officer Krasnow, she says, just giving him kind of a cursory nod.
Doctor?
Do you know anything about this that the captain may not be telling? You'd tell us, right?
I'd do whatever the captain told me to do. You know that.
Yeah, even if it means putting everybody else in jeopardy.
I trust the captain. I've sailed with Oso for 2 years. I think she knows what's best.
I think she knows where the bottom line is, just like everybody else who works for the Corp. But then, I mean, you were raised by them, so I shouldn't be surprised that you share their sentiments.
You know how I feel about that. But I
Apparently
trust the
there's a lot of-
captain.
Well, I have to admit, from what I've seen, she's been a good captain up to this point, and she doesn't seem to be holding anything back deliberately.
I don't think she'd put us in danger.
Well,
I trust her before the corp. You know that.
I guess I have a hard time trusting anybody, but as I said, she's about as good as anyone I've ever served under, especially since joining Gen Corps.
As the smartest person I know, I think that's a pretty good endorsement for her.
She starts to smile just slightly at the compliment and then quickly looks down at her tablet and says, I'm going to see if there's anything I can find. If there's anything about this compound, they may not be calling it Compound 76B, but I don't know. Maybe if I dig in a little bit deeper, I can find something about this area of space we're headed to that would inform us and prepare us for the mission. So I'm going to dig in here.
And I'll check with Krause and see if I can find out how they're storing it, if there's any clues what they think it can do from that.
Yeah, he seems like there might be... Well, maybe he knows a little more than he's letting on.
Like I say, they've got to tell him how to store it. That should tell us something. Or should tell the crew something. Owen will stand up and walk over toward Kraus.
Right, so you're approaching Kraus. Is the captain doing anything? Or to eat, drink?
Yeah, the captain comes back in, and as she comes back in, walking down the hallway, before she gets to the mess hall, she kind of sees herself in a reflection. She takes a moment to relax herself, seeing the slight gut overhang, seeing that her skin has lost its elasticity since she was younger. Just taking a moment to gaze at this aging process that has overtaken her over the years. She just frowns, takes a deep drink of her travel mug for standing back up straight and walking into the mess hall. And she kind of overlooks the crew, seeing this kind of depressive energy that's kind of over everyone. And she'll, so the other people who are looking at least slightly alright is Ronnie and James, yeah?
Well, Fitz as well. Fitz, I mean, I can't speak for Wander, but what do you think? You think you're looking pretty happy?
Yeah, a little bit uncomfortable around the captain now. In fact, he's probably going to wander up to her. Say, Captain, can I have a quick word?
She looks up and down Fitz and nods. Of course, Fitz.
Look, I just wanted to apologise. I think we got off on the wrong foot. It's just that everyone looks so depressed and tense, and this is just the start. Nothing's actually happened yet, and I just thought I'd lighten the mood. But sometimes I make jokes at the wrong time, and it didn't go down well. I'm sorry. It was no disrespect. I just wanted to clear the air.
She gives you a nod, a very firm one, before kind of glancing past you and the rest of the crew. I don't like it as much as they don't like it. Sometimes GenCorp doesn't give us enough information to really make us feel comfortable in any of the missions that we do. Overall, I've got a pretty good track record for keeping everybody safe. And as long as everyone does their part and no one attempts to do anything that's not part of their job description or disregard safety protocols, everything's gonna go fine. Everything's gonna go as every other mission goes, smoothly and usually with no surprises. She gives you a small smile out of the corner of her mouth, Fitz.
Thanks, Captain. And yeah, I'll do my job. I've got a big gob on me, but I'll do my job. Yeah. Thanks, Captain.
I know. I read your file.
Yeah. Don't believe the bit that time in the casino. I was very drunk.
Oh.
I mean, that's not going to happen again.
She crosses her arms. I didn't hear about the casino time. Why don't you tell me about that, Mr. Fitz?
No, it's all right. Maybe another time,
Sure.
Captain. Maybe
Yeah.
another time.
Sounds like you really want to talk about it right now.
No, I'm great, Captain. Thanks very much. Pleasure meeting you, Captain. Yeah, looking forward to the journey. Thanks. As he sort of backs away hurriedly.
She smiles to herself as he backs away. And she's going to go up to each member of the crew and kind of try to clear any of the doubts or kind of any of the fears that they have for the mission, giving a very similar speech that she gave to Fitz.
Alright, understood. So as you're doing that, we'll do the... Now, Krasnow approaching Kraus. He is sitting there. He was chatting up with Ronnie, but Ronnie's moving along, passing out more food to everyone. And Kraus is kind of left by himself there for a moment, just kind of chewing. He notices you and nods to you. Mr. Krasnow?
Mr. Kraus, I understand you're gonna collect this stuff.
Well, that is correct, sir. I was contracted to handle that bit, yes, sir.
Where are you gonna keep it once you collect it?
Oh, well, some of the specialist equipment I brought and keep it in the cargo bay down there is, they're not expecting a great deal of the element, apparently. It's a single canister, airtight. That's pretty much the gist of it. I've got equipment to help collect it via suction. Get in there, or if it's solid, I have the laser equipment to mine around it and collect a big enough sample. Based on what they were telling me about the initial reports.
What's in the initial reports?
Well, looks not a great deal, to be honest with you. Not much more than I'm told. I'm surprised, honestly, that none of you knew about it.
I am Gen Corp's representative on the ship, so anything you know, you can share with me.
Of course. Like I said, it's I don't think it's organic based on what they're telling me. It wasn't any outlines given for handling an organic specimen. Not that I'm training that handling anyhow. It's everything I've worked with is inorganic material, deep space mining. I've never done any snatch and grabs of animal type things, what have you. But he pauses for a long time, and like it's not really a natural pause. You see, he just kind of blanks out, and it seems like he's somewhere else. He stops and blinks a couple times, and then he goes back into his train of thought.
Thinking about something, Mr. Krause?
Nothing to do with this particular mission.
But this mission reminds you of it?
More like my profession reminds me of it.
Tell me about that.
I would have thought my file was passed along.
Oh, I like to do this by mouth. I'm not much of a reader.
Is it fully necessary? It's a bit of a difficult thing.
Well, I understand if it is difficult. But we seem to be pulling out all the difficult stuff, Mr. Kraus.
I have a good track record for success, but there are some difficulties in my history.
Those difficulties have anything to do with this substance?
No. I've never dealt with this thing in my life. Maybe similar things to it, but there've been incidences, all investigated, mind you, that have been difficult in my career as a deep space miner. I prefer not to elaborate too much on the subject, but this piece of hardware that is permanently fixed to my body is a direct result of one of those. I've seen some people die in this business. I sometimes recall it. I'm working through some issues. I was a bit late on my medication today, but it's not going to be a problem. I was cleared for duty by GenCorp, did a physical as a contractor, so you shouldn't have any issue.
I think you should probably go and get checked out by the doctor nonetheless.
I will. I'll do that. Yeah, my word. Before I do anything with the substance, for sure, I will go and see Dr. Bonner.
And I'd appreciate it if you'd let security officer Fitz take a look at that holding container. I think I'll come along for that if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Do you want to finish eating, or you want to go now?
I'll finish eating.
All right. Well, I'll finish up these potatoes, and then if the rest of y'all are finished eating, I'll come find you.
Thank you.
All right.
Dr. Bonner looks up from her tablet and kind of absently stands up and walks over to the captain, and whoever's near her, looks like Krasnow and Fitz might be close enough to overhear. Captain, so I see nothing about this substance, which doesn't surprise me, but there was a research vessel lost in that area of space about 4 years ago. All hands died. They attributed it to improper engine handling. I don't know, something about it setting some alarm bells off in my head. I think this might be related. We should at least keep it in mind, in my opinion.
She looks to Bonner and takes a moment before responding. Good work on finding that information, Bonner. I know it's a bit concerning. This entire thing, not knowing much information. You know, if I had more, I would let you know. I always have all of your best interests in mind. I don't want any of this to go awry. And we'll keep an eye out just in case. I mean, we aren't going to be flying into an asteroid belt. It's dangerous as it is.
Yes, Captain. And apologies for the disrespect earlier. Not knowing things drives me a little crazy, but it's
I
not
know.
an excuse.
No. I know you're fairly anal, Bonner. I'm used to it at this point.
Her mouth twitches a little bit at being called anal, and, well, I appreciate that.
Of course. We're gonna make sure we have every safety precaution that we can implemented. We don't do things half-assed. And gonna make sure we get everyone home. I mean, it's a hefty paycheck that's on the line right now.
Right. And that's what matters. Oh, and I mean, Officer Krasnow, did Kraus have anything enlightening to add?
He says he's a little late taking his meds today. You may want to give him a once-over.
She rolls her eyes. I haven't had a chance to review his file, but sure. Anything besides that?
One container. I'm going to take Fitz and we'll review it in a few minutes. Airtight, nothing else.
Oh, I'd like to look at it as well. Whatever container they're sending to contain it will certainly hold a clue as to what they expect it to be and the properties thereof.
Oh, do you want me to stay here then and you go with Fitz and check it out?
I don't see why we all shouldn't go.
Okay.
And Oso looks between Bonner and Krasnow. And she raises the invisible eyebrow she has. This is, some slightly, awkward, passive, aggressive stuff between you guys. You two gonna be okay in this mission?
Kathleen just pushes her glasses up on the bridge of her nose, kind of a tic she has. Of course. Why shouldn't it be? I mean, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm. She looks between Bonner and Krasnow. Well, I'm gonna check with the other crew if y'all want to check the container. It's been checked out by Gen Corp. I trust them to make sure it's safe. And if you want to do your double checking, as always, Krasnow, you go right ahead and, yeah, good to take the new kid with you.
Aye, Captain.
And Oso is gonna nod to the rest of the crew. And she's going to grab a bit of food before talking to anybody else.
So we'll do, we'll go ahead and do the, unless somebody has anything else, we'll go ahead and we will go check out the cargo area. Just a moment. All right. Everybody can see?
Yep.
I can see it. Doesn't look like a cargo area though.
Cargo enough.
Okay.
It shares cargo and warp drive area.
Yeah.
Gotta cut costs. Can't put a whole cargo area in there. All right, so it was Fitz, Kraus, Bonner, and Krasnow. Okay, so you all head down to cargo, taking one of the tube elevators down, and you all know, you're all familiar with the ship well enough at this point. Currently, Ronnie is not here to manage it. He is upstairs still. This is all kind of on autopilot and set to go already. He knows his stuff. Hasn't let anybody down as of yet. Kraus leads you over to where the containers are. And it is in an open top container. He goes over, points it out. It's a cylindrical tube. You can see inside of the glass on the outside appears to be reinforced as an open top at this time that appears it can be closed and sealed. Picks it up and places it on a nearby boxed crate. Well, this is the sucker right here. It's going to be used to hold it. It's about the length of from fist to like elbow joints. It's fairly decently sized, but not too large, crazy looking. He puts it on the crate and steps back, letting you take a look at it.
Bonner will walk up and examine it. Has she seen other things like this before that are used to contain toxic or dangerous substances?
Oh yeah, all the time. There have been prior missions where you've gotten organic material, and they're contained in similar things. This appears to be fairly universal by design. Usually, it's a sample kind of crate, more so for, or a sample tube, more so for initial exploration to see if you can get like readings, come back and evaluate potentially new materials. This is something that's fairly universal in design, comes in various shapes, sizes, and degrees. So, but this is something you've noticed before.
Great. So it doesn't look like it's been modified for any specific purpose.
No, nothing that you can tell. Airtight, complete seal whenever you close the top lid. I mean, this is used for organic, or inorganic material. So, I mean, this doesn't tell you a whole lot in that respect, other than what Krause told you. But it appears pretty standard.
Well, this tells me nothing. Just make sure it's functional, I suppose. She stands back from it.
Fitz will head over in that direction. He's going to assume that the doctors sort of examine this, how sort of airtight it is and everything, and he's really going to just give it a quick once over to see how robust it is. If anything happened, could this thing take a knock? Wouldn't want to think of it leaking if it got knocked over, for example. So he's really looking at that aspect of things.
And how are you testing that?
Really just looking at seeing if I recognize the materials. Is it fairly standard sort of, standard sort of density metals and stuff like that? Is it, decent thickness walls as far as I can tell? How secure is the locking mechanism? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so doing just some standard tests. So you don't have a great deal of experience with this sort of thing, but you have seen some containers like this since you went through training and things like that to be a part of the ship.
Okay.
It appears pretty standard. I mean, obviously, with any product that is developed, there is always the potential for failure. But I mean, if the patent is to be believed, this only happens 0.1% of the time. So it's pretty consistent. You've seen these things can take a bit of a beating. Obviously, you don't want to abuse it for a great deal of time. It's not fragile by any means, though. These are meant to be used in potentially hazardous environments, depending on the planets that you go to, or the circumstances. I mean, he is going into open space to retrieve this material based on what information's been given. So,
okay, yeah. So I just turn around to Krasnow, and I'll say, "Look, it's not really my area, mate, but it looks. Sir, but it looks solid. I mean, looks reasonable."
Kraus, you picked this, or was it assigned to you?
It was assigned to me, but they did give me a bit of a say. Kind of gave me an idea of what was going on with it, and this it's never failed me any other time when I'm getting something like that. So,
Something like what?
just material, potentially viscous, is what they told me. Solid or viscous. Collect some things of similar nature with that. This is what I prefer to use. It can accommodate both those things. Whether it's hard solid, strong enough to stand up on its own merit, or if it's viscous, it fits well in the tube.
Will it pressurize, or if you put it in outside, will it be in a vacuum in there?
able to adjust the mechanism, it should all take care of itself. Shouldn't be any issues. So it will be sealed tight, and shouldn't be any problems with pressure in regards to the quantity of material. The canister itself takes care of that, keeps it even keel.
So the canister will dispel some inside pressure or inhale outside substances.
To a minute extent, yeah, but it'll be mostly contained. It'll mainly expel. I intend to close it on the outside to. Again, I get what you're saying. Potentially, it expelling inside here, but it's going to be closed down and expelled before it goes through decontam. When I come back in. Is my understanding.
How are we going to handle the substance outside of the ship before it's been put in the container? What is the procedure for putting it into the container?
Well, that's all me, and they told me, depending on what form it's in, goes through further in the boxes. And I'm to use a EV suit. I'm going to be attached to the ship by a hose from the exit bay. Based on what I was told, what I've looked at for the ship schematics, it will be connected, allow me to go out into the particular roid that it is in. And then once there, depending on the nature of composition, I will either use this here and attach it, and he shows some kind of, you see, it looks like some kind of propelled vacuum type material that he's going to use. I'll either attach this to the top of the container and gather it this way, though it is not expected since this is in deep space, cold, and all that. Or I will use this, and he pulls out this device that you would recognize as a laser cutting tool, and I will cut around the compound and put the solid into the container the same way. I will then seal off the container. All handling will be done by me with a suit that is proportioned to the task and protect against any potential radioactive material handling.
Yes, let's be sure to follow proper procedure in case your suit, glove, anything comes into contact with it in this process.
Absolutely, ma'am. I've got 22 years of experience in this, and I promise I will not let anyone down in terms of regulations.
What terms will you let us down in?
Good company, maybe. Don't rightly know.
I don't mean to give you a hard time, Kraus. Don't mean to give you a hard time.
That's all right. You only got to deal with me for one mission.
Well, I better go check on that fellow. I'm gonna review his medical record. I'll see you all in a bit. And Bonner's gonna turn around and leave and go look for, was it Randy?
It was Krause, actually.
Oh, it was this guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking to someone else.
I just thought you played it off. That was actually good. I'm gonna go check on this guy's medical records. But no, yeah, it's Krause's medical records. That's who Krasnow was referring to.
In that case, she'll just kind of wait for these guys to be finished, and she'll say, Kraus, can you come visit me in the med bay as soon as these guys are done with?
Krause will look at Bonner. Oh, of course. Looks like Krasnow and look back at Bonner. Yeah, I can come by, man. Not a problem.
Fitz will sort of lean a little closer to him and say, "Look, mate, don't worry. I think everyone's just tense. Don't take it personal."
It's nothing at all, sir. I can understand it.
Yeah. I think everyone's just a bit weirded out by not knowing what this stuff is. Sure, you'll do fine. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. I'll do my part. Shouldn't be any problem on my end. I promise. I will get it all sorted out.
Cool. Be lucky, mate.
He nods and looks at Owen. Anything else?
You have any questions for me, Mr. Krause?
No, sir. I feel pretty good about all this. It's nice to be back out and doing this.
Well, we're happy to have you aboard.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna go do that physical, I guess. See y'all later.
Yeah, she's got cold hands.
I'll keep it in mind. He smiles and he takes his leave, leaving you two there in the cargo bay.
Fitz says, if you don't need me anymore, sir, I'll go and check out the security office. I didn't really get a good chance to do that before we had to go down to the briefing.
Very good, Mr. Fitz.
Thank you, sir. And I'll leave.
All right. Captain, are you speaking with anyone?
Just in regards to everything going on. I think, according to the captain, or at least what she thinks, it's a fairly straightforward mission. They've given us what we need to do. We need to go out to the outer asteroid belt. I'm guessing this wouldn't be out of the ordinary for anything GenCorp gives us.
Not offhand. You are typically given assignments. You do feel that this is a bit light on information, which is atypical. But it is refreshing that you are staying in solar system. You've actually been to a lot of missions out of solar system, because that is possible. So you've been to a couple other ones that are nearby. But in general, nothing is immediately jumping out at you as stranger than maybe the lack of information.
Alright, I think, unless any of the crew wish to speak to the captain, she's just going to make sure to kind of stand near the helm and just do kind of her usual routine when preparing for a mission such as this, like just do checks to make sure that all the equipment is in working order, that kind of thing. Just making sure all the safeties are where they're supposed to be in preparation for retrieval.
So as you're doing that, you are actually approached by Officer Humbart, who is your chief of security on this ship, chief of the 2 security, but he is your chief security officer. He approaches you. Captain, got a moment?
She's got a little kind of a pad out, and she's doing a checklist, a rundown of her usual things. She glances over to him momentarily before continuing to check on some of the valves. Of course, always got time for you, Humbart. What is it?
I just wanted to discuss the new security officer.
Fitz?
Yes, Officer Fitz.
What about him?
You've met the man?
I have. I've briefly spoken to the man. I've read his file. You see something that my one eye missed?
Your one eye is as sharp as ever, Captain, but I must wonder how you don't see the problem with this addition.
She cocks an eyebrow and stops her checklist, putting it down and looking towards Humbart. Care to elaborate?
He takes a seat. I understand that he is credentialed. He has served in a very difficult part of a metropolitan area. Post-resource war, that's not easy. I know. But his behavior record, honestly, Captain, you've seen some of the things.
I mean, the drinking and the women and all the partying, getting into trouble. That sort of thing.
And the casino.
And the casino.
Is this really a good addition to our crew at this time?
She clicks her tongue for a moment. There's a lot of eclectic individuals on the ship, but you and I both being part of those individuals. Now, Fitz, there's a chance that he could cause a problem, and I'll make sure to keep an eye on him in case he does start causing trouble, and then I'll deal with him in that case, but I'd like to give the kid a chance, at least at a real job. See what he can do under pressure.
It's your call, Captain. Stands up. I just wanted to make it noted.
I understand, Robert. And I appreciate the concern. I really do. I think the kid's gonna do well. I think he's gonna pull through. But, like I said, I'll deal with him if, starts acting up or anything like that. But let's not hope it gets to it.
Fair enough. Fair enough, Captain. I'll take my leave. Thank you, ma'am.
She gives him a firm nod before going back to her checks.
Right. So let's do I think security is good. So security is actually a section on the bridge, and I believe that Fitz was going to go there, correct?
That's right. Yep.
All right, so you go into a security wing of the bridge. Are you looking for anything particular? You just kind of want to lay out of how it looks?
Yeah, I mean, it's partly to get sort of familiar with it, and partly because he was just getting a bit uncomfortable with the atmosphere down there. The sort of tension was beginning to wear off on him, so he was looking for a change of scene as well. But he wanted to kind of get acquainted with his workstation and see if there was anyone up here he could kind of introduce himself to, and he's looking for someone who's a bit more relaxed and friendly.
So the whole crew is actually in the mess hall. It is a very small crew for this mission. But up here, general layout, you can see some security screens, footages that are all throughout the ship, as is standard protocol for any facility, any ship. Your privacy is not your own on board company property. So security has access to pretty much everything, room security, footage, things like that. So you're able to see that's pretty straightforward. There are 2 desks in the office, the security section. One has a newly minted brand new name tag of C. Fitz sitting next to the computer. The other one has J. Hombart. It is directly behind you, a bit faded. This has been your workspace for the last couple of days as you've been traveling. And it has a computer, standard file cabinet, holopads, things like that for hard copies, just in the event of a power issue.
Okay. I'm going to sort of cycle through the monitors, have a look around the ship. I'm just going to be having a look at, when people are, when people are sort of all together, they'll behave in a particular way that people expect. But, when they're off in 1s and 2s around the ship, you'll see a bit more of who they really are. So I'll just have a quick flick through the monitors and just see if anyone's behaving oddly. Just do a sort of routine sweep of things.
So we'll say a little bit of time has passed and people are starting to disperse from the main mess hall. People are traveling out. You have cameras in every. They're not in bathrooms for obvious reasons, but they are in the main rooms, hallways, every main room on the ship, including the bridge, which is right outside, but there is a camera there, and this door can be locked from the inside. Security only key card, which you would be aware of. Locked in and out. You have an armory cabinet in here. Usually it's in the event of a shipboard assault. There are occasional pirates, but this technology that usually occurs very isolated colonies. That does not. This is a secure sector of space, as far as you've been told. It's the solar system.
Okay.
So,
apart from the arms cabinet, do we tend to carry like a sidearm with this
you
normally?
do.
Okay.
Yep, you have a standard issue. High, so it's not it is useful for shipboard. It's not very high velocity, but it's still a it's still a firearm. So it's to make sure that it doesn't cause any kind of depressurization, of course. Not that these ship walls are very dainty, but they don't take any risks. So it's of moderate caliber, but it is advanced technology. So it will put a person down. You've seen it used before, and this is similar to the sidearm you would have used on Planet Side.
Okay, great. Well, I'll stay here for a while and just keep on with my sweep. But I will also be interested in. I'm starting to, get the idea there's going to be a lot riding on Krause. So Kraus. I'm going to keep a little bit of an eye on him, and then generally just keep, just make sure the systems are all up and running. Run a quick diagnostic and flick throughout the ship. No, I'm just stay here for a while.
You notice a couple things, pretty routine things first, and then a couple of oddities that maybe strike you. So, first, simple stuff. You see after everybody's starting to disperse, Ronnie goes back down to warp drive area and is just going through details on his console. You can't really see specifics, but you see enough that he's just down there doing his thing on the warp engine. You see the Krause siblings, who are the engineers and mechanics of the ship. Maria being lead, Eduardo being right under her. They both are just working on miscellaneous things. They do work close to from time to time, and they seem to chat and laugh a bit about things you can't really hear on monitors, as they're just doing routine things and vents and fixing things that appear to be a bit out of order, service tickets, things like that. Dr. Bonner is in her office, I believe. Is that correct, Slip?
Yeah, wherever she does checkups and exams.
Medbay, then. So she's in Medbay. You see Krause is heading that way. He does stop at one particular point when he's heading up a hallway. He stops and he leans against the hallway for a moment and rubs his temples, but then goes back into walking towards. The other oddity that you notice that you maybe not being familiar, you do see the ship pilot, Ian Macklemore. He typically flies the ship for complex maneuvers. A lot of things are done by autopilot, but he flies it for complex maneuvers, and he does work a shift throughout the day to make sure everything's in order. And he's mainly here as a courtesy. There's a lot of automation going on, but he does handle it when things get bad. And you see he is off shift at this point, and based on his room, he has taken to drinking heavily. There are several bottles laid out. And this is maybe a bit concerning for someone who's on a ship with this being the pilot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
he's in his room.
Likes to drink, but not on duty and not that much.
He's technically off shift, but it is an emergency position you're aware of just from standard operating protocol. So
right.
Maybe a bit concerning. As far as everyone else, you see the captain going through their details, and Humbart appears to be actually heading this way.
Okay. I don't think Fitz will tell Humbart about the pilot, because I think Humbart's pretty by the book kind of guy, right?
You would have gotten the sense he is a very difficult man. be around. That you would be polar opposites with him, you think?
Yeah. So seeing him coming this way, I'll leave just as he's arriving, and I'll go down to see Macklemore.
All right. As you pass by him, he gives you a terse nod and heads towards the security room.
I'll do the same back. I'll say, "Sir."
He nods to you. We will do medbay next. Anything from Captain or Krasnow at this point?
No, Captain, still kind of walking around and doing her checks and whatnot.
Krasnow will head back up to the bridge.
Understood. All right. So Slip, what exactly are you kind of looking for with this? He came up here for an inspection, basically. So what are you working to do here?
At the mention of medications, that's one of the first things she's looking at, what special medications he's on.
So he is on an antidepressant and an antipsychotic. You can see from his medical history.
She definitely raises an eyebrow at the antipsychotic. I take it it's probably not standard for someone with those sorts of problems to be allowed to go on sensitive missions.
Generally not, from your understanding.
Well, she knows that she doesn't really have anything to say about it. So after she's sort of prepped on it and he arrives, she asks him to sit down on an examination table. So have you had a chance to take your medication today?
Yes, I was about an hour late, but did get it in. Yes, ma'am.
You do know it's important to take these as regularly, same time every day as possible.
Yes. Again, I'm sorry about all that. I just woke up late. That's all.
Sure. All right. I'm just going to run a standard battery of tests, reflexes, memory, just to make sure that being out here, there's nothing in the change of scenery that's affected you at all, and purely routine. And with that, she'll just give him like the standard battery of tests.
First roll. Go ahead and do skill check intelligence, and you are. This will tell you. This will give me an idea how much information that you glean from this test, in addition to your notes. So just to pass is going to be easy. You do these tests all the time. Oh, that's very good. Okay. All right. So I will whisper you something. I'll give the rest of it as kind of standard. So, as far as reflexes, physical ability, he appears to be in very good shape, above average for somebody of his age. He is 45, so he's in exceptional physical shape, actually, but maybe not unexpected for being a deep space miner. It's a very physically demanding position, both with equipment and just the workload. Even if as things are made more convenient by space, it's also made difficult depending on how to operate in it. So he is in a very good physical condition. Mentally, you do get some irregularities. There appears to be a fair bit of activity in areas of the brain that are related to memory. There's a great deal of stress or pressure that appears Kraus is under. You're not really sure what that is related to until you start looking through the notes, and I'm going to give you a whisper here.
So she'll, start taking particular notes of this, and then she'll say, so I understand that this is probably a pretty important mission, and it would be understandable to be feeling more stress than usual. I can see here that you were in a mining accident. How have you been? Have you felt differently since your accident? Mentally, I mean.
And he leans up on the chair and looks a bit, looks down at the floor and scratches his head. Well, I've been under a bit of stress, yeah, trying to get back out here and make money for family back home. Different? I don't think so. But then again, I'm not, someone else. I'm not from outside, so I couldn't tell you. But this thing, and he looks at the arm, and it's been different. It's been weird.
Do you feel any physical discomfort?
Like that whole missing limb thing? No, that was maybe like a month after, before we got fitted for this feller. But no, I'm not in any pain, really.
Do you do anything to help with relaxation or stress relief? Practice meditation, perhaps?
I've never been much into the yoga. I drink from time to time, or I used to just do little workshop crafts. I don't really do that anymore. I've been trying to find something relaxing. Swimming. I used to swim quite a bit when I was planetside, but ain't many pools out here in space, so I ain't been able to do that much. But it was relaxing.
Well, I think that things like that can be a form of meditation. They take your mind off exactly the stressors, and give you a chance to let those portions of your psyche kind of recover. I think it's important that you do find some way, maybe, I don't know, as we continue, find someone who might enjoy playing cards or something, because your elevated stress levels, they concern me. And just from one human being to another, I don't like to think of you going around carrying such a burden on your shoulders. So that would be my professional and personal recommendation. Find some way to relax a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I could do some cards, yeah. Pay for money, but maybe I could find someone who's having a game for sport. See about. I saw them Krause siblings. They seem like they like to play a bit of poker, so maybe I'll see about them. Maybe that fellow with the insecurity was drinking. He might be all right, but yeah, I'll find something.
He's seems like a friendly sort of person. Now, look, I'm not the most entertaining nor personable individual on this ship, but if you do feel that you need someone to talk to, she sort of nods and doesn't make direct eye contact. I am here. You can come talk to me about anything you're experiencing, especially physically or mentally, and I'll do what I can to help, even if it's just listen.
Kraus nods. Thank you. I just think I need to work through a couple things on my own, but I will try to find a way to relieve that stress.
All right. Well, while we're on this job, I would like to do just a quick checkup every morning that same time, just to make sure all your levels maintain steady and you're not having any unexpected drug interactions while we're out here.
Yeah. What time?
Same time tomorrow, as long as we're not busy on mission business.
That's fine.
All right then.
Thank you, doctor. And he stands up and we'll exit. All right, and we will do a scene here, and then we'll move forward after this one to the next day. This will be Fitz and Ian. So you do head down to Ian's room. You're on the outside of the door. You do have a key card to access it immediately if you'd like to. Security has override key cards. Security, Captain, and Krasnow, as they're all in official positions, all have immediate override cards to get access. So it's something that you have. It's meant to be in the event of emergency. Using it just to open up doors randomly is typically considered poor taste, but it's not outside your authority necessarily.
Okay, I'll knock on the door.
Yeah, who is it?
Fitz, security.
Oh shit! All right, come on in.
Okay, I'll go in.
And he starts placing some bottles you see in a trash bin next to him. What's going on, officer?
I'll nod towards the bottles and go, "That's what's going on." Come on, look, I like a drink every much as the next bloke, but if it hits the fan, mate, we all rely on you. You got to take it down a notch. Drink or two's fine, but that's a lot of bottles, right? You don't need me to tell you that.
Man, I drink more than this most of the time. This is calm. You said your name was Fitz. You the new guy on the ship?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you, I don't know, go handle like a real problem or something, sir?
Well, look, I was just trying to have a friendly word. If you're not able to function and something goes wrong, Hombart's going to be all over you like a rash, mate. So this was just a friendly word. You can take it or leave it. All right? Have a good night.
Man, let him try. Let him try to fuck with me. He takes out a beer and puts it on the counter. I got him.
Don't go that way. Don't go that way. That's not good for anyone. And at the end of the day, you seem like a decent enough guy, but I've got a job to do. And if you try taking on Hombart, then yeah, I'm going to have to back him up. It's my job. Don't go that way. Just cut it down a notch, please. Anyway, I've said my piece. Have a good one.
Let me see. Ian nods. Says, "All right, officer. Message received.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Cheers."
And I'll leave.
Yeah, he leans back. You hear the bottle cap pop.
I'll sigh as I leave. Okay. And I'll head up to the I'll head up briefly to Med Bay, and I'll just give the doctor a quick note about what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just act that out real quick. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm assuming Bonner is still in her office. So Fitz, you walk in.
Doctor, just a quick word.
Oh, sure. What is it? She says, looking up.
Look, normally I wouldn't mention something like this, but I know that we're all going to be relying on Kraus. So I just I was flicking through the monitors, checking out everything was working, and just flicking from room to room, making make sure we got no black spots. And I saw him in a corridor, and it might have been nothing, but he just had to lean against a wall, and he was holding his head, and I don't know. He looked more than tiredness. I mean, you're the doctor, right? But just something I saw. Just thought I'd mention.
Are you suggesting that he was intoxicated?
No, not him. I mean, no, he wasn't. No, I don't think so. Anyway, he looked more like he wasn't feeling too good. But like I say, it was just a quick thing.
Well, if he was feeling ill, I mean, he knows he can come and see me.
Yeah. Sorry, Doc. I probably shouldn't have come. I mean, it's probably nothing. Sorry. So ignore me. It's all good.
No, I'll keep my eye open for any sort of infection on the ship is something to take seriously, very seriously.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just that Kraus is so important, right? He's going to be the one handling this thing that we don't understand, and yeah, I just want to make sure he doesn't. He seems like a good guy. I'm sure he wouldn't do anything bad. It's just if he's sick, could endanger everyone.
Right. Well, I completed an examination, and
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
as far as I can tell, he's fit for duty. But I will be keeping my eye on him, as you all.
Great. Thanks, Doc. Have a good night. And I'll leave.
All right. So we go into the next day. Everything passes pretty much without incident overnight, unless anyone has anything that they're doing in particular. We do move on to the next day. So on the bridge, definitely Krasnow and Captain are present. You entered into the parsec today around noon. Just to let you know, Dr. Bonner, Krause came in, seemed not any worse than before. So standard readings there. Ian is on the bridge as well. He's in the pilot's chair, looking through things. He is rubbing his eyes quite a bit, but he does not appear to be too slow or anything like that, operating controls as far as anyone's immediately aware.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out just in case, but not too obviously.
Hombard is doing patrols as this is going on, but pretty much what's happening, you're pulling up to the edge of the asteroid field at this point where this compound is supposed to be. So as you're pulling in, what kind of discussions are going on here in the bridge?
The captain is kind of leaning over, scanning the map, sending out kind of any radio waves or anything like that to try and pick up the substance. Do we know exactly where it is, or we just know it's in this asteroid belt, this area?
You have a very clear identification on at this point as you're getting closer. Everything's kind of picking up the readings on it, so you got a pretty good idea what asteroid's attached to.
Yeah, so she's kind of looking at that, enhancing the image, checking to see the location. She's mostly assessing exactly the best way for Krause to go about this. And as she kind of looks up, Macklemore, Slow down the ship. We're getting in close. Don't want to get too close in case any rogue asteroids come out after us. Everything looked good up there.
All right, Captain, slowing ship. And Macklemore brings it kind of to a crawl.
And she looks to Fitz and Krasnow. Alright, they're coming about it now. One of you want to make sure that Kraus is getting ready for extraction.
I can go down and check on him.
Alright. See if he needs one of you to accompany him out there, just in case.
What, out there? Yeah, yes, Captain. Yeah, sure. And I'll head down looking a little bit unsettled.
And she shakes her head and laughs a little bit, looking to Krasnow. Remember the first time that you were on the ship and I made you go out there as well? Yeah, you nearly shit your pants.
You enjoy.
Must be nice to not be one of the newbies anymore on here. That's all for the captain. She continues to make sure the scans are up and just letting the rest of the crew know that they're slowing down and coming in close.
How are we scanning for stuff?
So it's actually coming through your terminal. Whenever it comes to tactical kind of situations, or not tactical, but the exploration side of things, the equivalent of tactical, whatever it would be in that sense, you handle a lot of the electronics, the imaging. If people exit the spaceship, you handle, reviewing their life suit monitors, things like that, just to keep a track on things. Obviously, the doctor responds with any kind of difficulties, but whenever they're back on the ship, but you're kind of handling things in a technical capacity to get them back in.
Right. You said we were reading the asteroid, telling where this stuff was. What are we searching for? How are we detecting?
So you have scanners on your ship that are material scanners. Just picking up information through subwaves in space. So that's how you're reading, and that's how you scan and read things generally. So you have those operating right now.
So does that allow me to have a chemical readout on this stuff?
You can definitely give it a shot. Go ahead. Let's go with intelligence. This is going to be difficult. Even if you fail, you will get some information. So it's going to be, if we're looking at the System-Lite, we're going to say it's going to be a 12 for all information, but anything less, you will still get some. Oh, that's pretty close. Yeah, I'm gonna whisper you. I'll whisper you something here. As you're scanning, so you do end up scanning and finding the particular asteroid. It's rather small, but it's kind of tucked away in there. The approach vector seems decent. There's some debris from the other asteroids and rocks in the way, but I'm gonna whisper you something as well.
Can I send on whatever readings I have down to the doctor?
You may.
Are you going to send them to the captain or just send them to the doctor?
I'll send them to the doctor.
Am I able to view what he's viewing?
If you feel like you'd have a reason to,
No.
it's right there.
Here's the thing. I don't know what I'm viewing. I'm not sure I can tell you. Captain, I have
Alright.
useless information for you.
So I'm going to whisper you now, Slip. And just while that's going on, Fitz, you go down and check on Ronnie's down here, not really. Fitz, you see Kraus is getting in this big kind of bulky EVA suit that is pretty traditional for outside in deep space as far as you're aware. Again, not a great experience, but you've seen it in the vids, the holo vids. So makes sense. And he's just kind of strapping on everything for the body, getting ready to put the head portion on, and they're getting hooked up. Ronnie's helping him a bit, and Ronnie looks over. Oh, hey Fitz, man, how you doing?
Ah, Big Ron, how's it going?
Oh, man, just living the dream, working with engines, looking up this big guy to go out there deep space walking. You know how it is, man.
Yeah. Oh, so, Kraus, you all right? Feeling good?
Yeah, it's good to be out here again. Just a little bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but I've done this quite a few times, and it's not gonna be a problem.
Good. And you wouldn't, you're good by yourself, right? Yeah, you all right?
Oh yeah,
Good.
absolutely. This job don't take two people, man. You're fine. Don't even worry about it. I wouldn't make you go out there.
Cool. Yeah, nice. Ron, see you, mate. Yeah, and Kraus, if you need anything or if you start to feel a bit funny or anything, just let us know, right? Just let us over the comm, and the doc can pull you back in if we need to, right? She can watch your vitals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, not gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Good luck.
He nods and
Okay. Fitz is about to leave, and he's sort of like, doesn't feel quite right. And he turns back and he says, look, Kraus, yeah, you're not looking too good, mate. You really aren't. I don't like to say it because we need you, but we need you to do it right, mate. If you're not well, I mean, we can wait.
oh no, I'm fine. This damn thing's just hot. That's all. You see how big this damn thing is? We don't have the temperature controls on just yet, so it's a cooker.
Oh, okay. Do I think he actually looks nervous as well, though? Like more than a little bit? Is he looking, more than just slightly tense? Because this is something he's done before, right?
It is, yeah. He's done this. He said a couple times, quite a few. What he told you, Slip. The answer is yes, you can. It is going to be difficult. 12. Fitz. We'll go with intelligence. You're trying to read him a bit, so we'll say 6, easy read.
Okay. Whoops. Let's try that again. Intelligence. Oh.
You're not sure. It could just be the suit.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll assume it's that, and I'll say, okay, thanks. Great. Good luck out there. And I'll leave.
He nods, and you see that they put the the headpiece on.
Possible if once that's relayed to the captain about organic contamination, she's gonna look to Owen. What are you talking about?
Captain, I really would defer to the doctor's analysis. This isn't my area of specialty, but it appears there's something organic or like organic on that asteroid.
And the doctor's saying it's unlikely or it's not there.
I think the doctor needs to have a better look at the raw data, and maybe she can come to a better scientific opinion than what we've got right now.
Can you forward her the information?
Done, Captain.
All right. And then she's going to patch in to the doctor.
The doctor answers, sounding kind of distracted. Yes, Captain.
Bonner, what you getting from that information that Krasnow sent you?
Yeah, like I suspected. This doesn't look like foreign contamination. There's something organic here. It's just part of the compound. So, I suspect maybe this is part of what we're looking for, and it is at least partly biological in nature. So, careful there.
All right. Well, Krasnow, can you make sure to patch into Krause's comms there?
Yes,
Just wanna
yes.
give him a heads up. Thank you. And if they patch through, I kind of call through the comm. Krause, how you doing out there?
And you hear the kind of the deep breathing that's traditional of these suits kind of background. Oh, good, Captain. Just getting ready to head out. Waiting for decon to be finished up, and then hoses connected, suits on, ready to head out there.
Good. Just be careful while you're out there. Some of the preliminary scans show that it might be contaminated or at least mixed with some sort of organic material.
You said organic?
Organic, yes.
Understood. I'll be careful. The suit should take care of it. Shouldn't be a problem.
Good. Just make sure to be safe there.
All right. So out the front of the ship, everybody can see this. So Doctor can't, but the rest of you who are on the bridge would be able to see pretty clearly. After a little bit, Kraus would come into view on the asteroid. They're heading out towards it in open space. You also have a helmet cam that's attached for viewing on your end, Owen, so you can kind of see as he is heading towards it. He's about 3/4 of the way there when you start to get some readings on your. He stops for a moment, and you start to get some readings. Owen, his heart rate is elevating a bit. And it's not really a natural elevation. It jumps quite significantly.
Something the matter, Kraus?
You don't hear anything right away. The breathing seems to get heavier, and the helmet cam is moving left to right. It seems to be looking around. It fixates for a moment on a bit of debris that is floating by his face. And you just hear the breathing, this heart rate staying high. the head shakes a bit. The cam goes back and forth. Nothing. I'm fine. He begins to move towards the asteroid again.
Everything good there, Owen?
Just a little bit of an elevation in his heart rate had me a little concerned.
Well, looks like he's still on the move. Let's just wait for him to retrieve it. I mean, gonna be a easy payday, I think.
Is there ever one?
Sometimes. She takes another drink of her travel mug and kind of leans back in her chair.
On the helmet cam, Owen, you begin to see Kraus seems to lock in some sort of tool that inserts itself into the asteroid, some kind of prospecting device, and he hits a few buttons on it. And you see a few bars fill up, and all right, working to locate the substance now. There it is. And he is able to find it. You see kind of a readout of where it's at. And going to he looks over his shoulder. I try to dig here to get directly to it. Start my cutting procedures now. Appears to be solid. And he begins to, he pulls out the laser cutting device and begins to shear away at the rocks rather quickly, cutting through. Again, elevated heart rate, still climbing just a little bit higher and resting at a very uncomfortable rate.
Slow and steady carries the day, Kraus. Slow and steady.
Read you. Appears to be checking around constantly.
Do I see anything moving around him?
No, nothing. You see debris. There are both from him cutting and just from the area in general, but none of it seems particularly threatening from your perspective, as equipment should be able to take light contact.
Krause, just make sure, be easy. Get it done while you can, but, if you can't be quick about it, that'd be great.
Understood. I'm gonna get there pretty soon, and we'll have it. We'll have it in hand.
Perfect.
And he sees you end up cuts around a few rocks, and then there's this small kind of greenish looking glow that is behind the asteroid. A bit of rock, and you do see that he kind of pulls apart some rock. I think I've got the substance. Gonna work to clear out the area around it so I can get it in the canister.
Great job, Bones. Or Krause. She takes another sip of her travel mug. Both of you, great job.
And you see him start to shear it around, and you begin to see more of this object, and it appears very strangely formed. It's embedded in this rock. It doesn't appear to be part of it. it's weird for a natural formation. I mean, you guys have seen a lot of things in your collecting, resources and appraising compounds, elements, things like that, making discoveries, and a lot of stuff seems pretty natural. This looks strange, not maybe not manufactured, like not from that perspective, but it's odd how symmetrical it ends up being. It's just a very kind of symmetrical, cylindrical type of object that when Kraus does grab it, he reaches for it and dislodges it
With his hand?
with his hand, but it is protected with that EVA suit. And he dislodges it and works to get it inside that container. And as he does so, he's able to lock it in there. Compound secure. I'm gonna have Ronnie start reeling me back in.
Good, bring it on back there.
And, you see him start to get pulled back a bit.
Is he calming down at all?
A little bit, yeah. You see his heart rate start to drop a fair bit. Getting back down to normal levels. He gets about halfway back, and there's a small field. Again, minor rocks and everything that are kind of in the way. They're not going to prevent him from coming back, but he does start to bump into a few of them. And he spins and looks at it, and his heart rate starts going through the roof. It jumps immediately. His breathing picks up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. He starts wiping he's just wiping the front of his helmet constantly, as if he's trying to get something off. Oh, God, it's all over me. They're all over me. Oh, fuck, pull me in.
Captain, we have a bit of a problem.
What's going on, Krause?
Fuck, just pull me in. It's all over me. Jesus Christ.
Ronnie, get him in as fast as possible. What's all over you, buddy?
Richard. It's them. All over.
Who's them?
So much blood. Jesus Christ. He's sweating. His heart rate's constant. Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
In.
Doctor, you need to head down to cargo bay.
I'll go home.
What's the problem?
We got an issue with Krause. Get
Can
suited
you be
up.
more specific?
I don't know. He's having some sort of panic attack.
Okay, that makes some sense. All right, I'm gonna grab some things from here, and then I'll be down there as fast as I can.
Make sure to suit up.
Yeah, she's gonna grab tranquilizers, and then she'll go over to where any protection suits are, and she'll put those on and head down, whether they're in that area or in her med bay, either way.
And you hear Ronnie patch in. Captain, this is Ronnie down here in engineering.
Yeah, Ronnie.
I'm having a little trouble here bringing him back onto the ship. He's flailing around a lot. I'm trying to keep this cord back in. If he doesn't calm down, he might pull it loose, and then we're gonna be fishing.
Shit. Fitz. You want to go down there and help out? We might need someone out there to go fetch him.
Yeah. Okay, Captain. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Shit.
Krasnow,
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to go down there too. I'll keep an eye on the vitals, but
Aye, Cap.
might need some backup.
Aye, Captain.
Good.
Head straight down.
Yep. I'll go too.
The captain will kind of take over everything that he was looking at, take over the video feed and everything. Comms, looking at the heart rate. Kraus, you gotta calm down, alright? You just gotta breathe. Reeling you back in. It's a bit of a space madness.
We'll go home.
Alright, Kraus, I need you to do something for me. I need you to start looking around I need you to start naming off of things you see. Just in order of what you see. Slowly. Take deep breaths while you're doing it, alright?
It's just pieces. All of it. I knew them.
Just start.
It's a hand.
Nope.
It's... Oh, God.
God damn it.
That's Richard's whole head. Jesus fucking Christ. What?
Krause.
He just keeps going.
Yeah.
Naming off. There's blood. There's blood on my visor. I can't get it off. Keep wiping. I can't get it off.
Oh, shit. Just close your eyes and take some deep breaths from me, alright?
So the rest of you head down to the warp engine area. Ronnie's down there, just keeping the hose connected. He stopped flailing around a bit, man, but he's still acting fucking crazy. If I let this go, it might come undone. Like, I can't believe he's jerked it around this much. I had this thing secured and tightened.
So, are you able to reel him back in now? And how long is it going to take?
I don't know. If he keeps working around, if he was just acting normal, maybe 10 minutes, but he keeps doing all this crazy shit. I don't know, half hour, 45, maybe even an hour. Man, I've never had anybody act this crazy out there.
I've got tranquilizers, but I have no way to give him those tranquilizers without puncturing his suit, which would...
What if we
expose
feed
him
it
to
through the air
contamination.
hose?
Do I have anything that can be fed through the air hose? Like inject into the tank?
Yeah, you could try. It may take some time, just to deliver, because he has a fair bit out there, so it could take some time to deliver. But you could try to do that.
I did bring some things that could possibly be fed through the air hose, but that's the slow answer. But still, I guess it doesn't hurt to get that started. And she'll open up the case of things that she brought and start taking out some aerosol canisters, small canisters. Randy, are you the... Here, do you know how to get these into the air hose?
Oh yeah, man, I can do that. I can go put it in there. Hold on, no problem. I will tell you though, it's gonna take a minute. He's quite a bit of ways out there, man.
Fitz takes a deep breath and then turns to Krasnow and says, "Look, I'm trained in restraint techniques. I can if you suit me up, I can try and go out there and see if I can get him to flail around a bit less. Maybe hold him still till the anesthetic kicks in, to the tranks rather. So yeah, if you want, I can suit up."
You need to be really careful. He's got that prosthetic arm, and if he strikes out at you, your suit could be severely compromised.
Right. What do we reckon the odds are if I don't? What are the odds he's going to break loose, taking that thing with him, dying out there if I don't go out?
I don't know.
Given how he's flailing around and how long this is going to take.
If he did go out there, is there a faster way to get the aerosol into his breathing apparatus?
It may be able to position it within one of the tubes further down, potentially, but it would be a bit risky to do that. Obviously, like you said, suit puncture probably not the best idea.
Yeah, no.
But no, I mean, putting it through to him without, like, it's either going to be administrating through the air, or it's going to be bringing him in and give it to him directly, which would mean that's almost immediate, depending on where you inject him. So, when you want to try, but probably not a better way to bring it out there with the open space being a factor.
I think maybe we need to do everything we can, get this drug flowing. I think Randy's got that started. Suit up, get ready in case that's what we're left with, and try to talk him down.
Is the next suit the same kind of suit as Krause has, or is it just a regular spacesuit?
More regular. Krause's was it was brought with him essentially to accommodate his equipment. So it's a bigger suit. It also has to fit him as well because he's a larger individual. So it is accommodant for him, and it is a specialized suit. So the other suits are more in line with just general spacewalking or simple recovery rather than the kind of complex recovery he does.
And does he still have the canister with him?
He does. He has the canister is affixed to his hip.
And we didn't. There's no cable. It's just a hose that's attached to him.
Essentially, hose and cable. It's kind of a dual purpose thing that stays attached with him. So he's connected to the ship. He's receiving all oxygen, things like that. But he's also got that attached to him, and that's what's being kind of tested here.
Okay, I'm starting to suit up.
All right. So you get all suited up. Good.
I don't know if the doctor's good at talking people down, but she'll try to patch in and talk to him as well.
Yeah, you can do that from down here.
Kraus, do you remember me? I'm the doctor.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I know you've been through some things, and I know that things you're seeing seem very real, but you need to remind yourself that stuff's in the past. It's not happening now. And when you get back to the ship, we can make it all go away. I'm going to help you. I told you I'd be here for you. I'd help you whenever you needed it. And all you need to do is get back to the ship. You don't even really need to do anything. Just calm down and let us pull you back, okay? Just listen to our voices, and we're going to pull you back in.
It's hard to not see it.
I know. We've all got things that hard to forget that haunt us. You're not alone. I mean, I've got things that I try not to think about and sometimes can't stop. So even strong people sometimes they have weak moments, but we're all going to pull through this together. You just need to keep hearing our voices and keep on coming back to the ship. And once you get back here, everything's going to be okay.
I can try.
Yep, just keep trying. Just keep talking to us.
He's still looking around and occasionally wipes his face. Fitz, you get all hooked up. Ronnie gets you connected, and you go through decam. And
just before I do, just before I put the helmet on, in a colossal failure to read the room, Fitz just stops by the doctor for a second before he puts his helmet on and says, "So, kiss for good luck?"
And she gives him a cold look. And then she turns to Owen and she says, "Krasnow, what about you? He wants a kiss." For luck.
He's not my type.
Oh.
You know, I like him smaller than that.
Well,
looks like
small's never been my thing. All right then. Right, suit me up.
And you get suited, and the doors open up, and it is just the darkness space. There is a distant, very, very distant light that you can see very narrowly, but it is not much at all. Mainly, it's the shipboard side of things that are giving the light, and you can see him out there. You're still inside the decon area as it's opened up. What are your thoughts looking out into space from this this close?
Just fear. Never imagined I'd be actually doing an EV walk. So doesn't look too bad from here, but I'm just terrified of what it's going to be like when I'm actually just out there in the enormity of space, just with this tiny thin suit between me and the hard vacuum. Not looking forward to it at all. I'm trying to fix my eyes on Kraus and think, right, I'm here for him. I'm here for him. I'm here for him. I've got a job to do. And I'm just trying to, go over in my head what I'm going to do when I get out there close to him. Start to go through all my kind of visualizations of restraint techniques. Start to think about some of the things I've said before when talking down people with guns and stuff like that. Just try and fixate on the job, and I'm going to try not to look around me when I go out there.
All right. So you begin to head out, and Ronnie's feeding you the slack to go ahead and starts unwinding. You have a little bit of propulsion coming from the boots that you have, but not much, and it does push you kind of out there. You're getting close to Krause, and he's looking away from you. As you're approaching.
I'm going to stop a little bit of a way away from him, sort of out of arm's reach in case he flails. And I'm just going to open comms and say, Kraus, all right? Hang in there.
And Kraus kind of turns suddenly, looks at you. He seems like you can't really see too well on his side. It's very fogged up on the inside of his suit, where his mask is. You're that officer?
Yes, security, mate. Yeah, we're going to get you back in, mate. Right? So I'm just going to take your arm. You all right with that? I'm just going to take your arm, bring you back in. Nice and easy.
You're going to go through the blood, man.
It's all right. Seen plenty of blood in my time, mate.
He's just looking. You can see his eyes. He looks very scared. The eyes you can see behind it.
Okay, so I'm going to move towards him. I'm going to get ready to sort of gently take his hand, but I'm also going to be ready for him to suddenly flail when I do. So I'm already rehearsing how I'm going to sort of dodge if he swings at me or try and get behind him and restrain him. But I'm hoping he'll just respond to the me taking his hand and pulling him back in. So,
are you taking the right hand or left hand?
I'm going to take his right hand, I think, because the left hand could crush me.
Very well. He looked at the token. Very good. You take him by. He doesn't flail right away. So you take his arm. You start getting pulled back in. Heart rate starts to lower a bit. You can see on the monitor, Captain, you're kind of pulling along. He seems to relax a bit there. Fitz.
Okay, so Kraus, what's your favorite drink, mate? I think we've earned one.
I like a good bit of whiskey. I'm a southern boy.
Oh yeah, nice. Well, I've never been one for bourbon myself, but you know what? I think you could get me to try some. So, you got any quarters?
Oh, no, I haven't been drinking much lately.
Oh, there's your problem right there, mate. Settle the nerves like nothing else. I'll just keep him talking as we're getting closer to the ship. If he's thinking about how inane I am, it'll take his mind off his bigger problems. And I'm constantly watching for him to suddenly flail, even though he's calmer.
And what's going on the inside?
Pulling.
Ooh.
Very good.
The captain radios down to the cargo bay. How's it going down there? I got readings on Fitz and Kraus. Looks like they're slowly coming in. You prepared to receive them?
You suddenly hear from Fitz just for a second. Just go, oh shit, oh shit, oh.
Fitz! And she patches to him. Fitz, what's going on? What's going on?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm good.
Right.
It's okay. I thought I saw something for. Oh, don't worry. I just imagined it. It was. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Just keep making your way back. Take deep breaths. Don't let Kraus get you. Right?
Yeah. We're good. We're good, ain't we, Kraus? Yeah. We got this.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Feeling better. And it goes pretty routinely from there. It does end up takes a little bit longer than you might expect, but he does get pulled back in to the warp drive area.
Yeah, the doctor is there to make sure all, procedures are followed to the T as far as avoiding contamination from the suits, etc.
Fitz is on his hands and knees, just sort of taking deep breaths.
As soon as Krause is out of suit and decontaminated, the doctor's going to walk over and she's got an injector of tranquilizer, in her hand, but just kind of loose at her side. She's looking him up and down, trying to determine what his current mental state is.
You said you were doing that for Kraus?
Yes.
Yeah. Kraus is when he comes on, he absentmindly kind of puts the canister to the side where it's supposed to be, just in on top of a box after everything's been sorted out, decon and everything like that's happened. And then he just is blank. His eyes are looking somewhere else, not on this ship. It's gone. He doesn't know where he is. He's sweating. He's very still. You don't really see him tensing up or anything, but he is somewhere else right now.
She looks at his pupils. Does he look like any of the tranquilizer they put through the air is working on him right now?
You think it is? Yeah, you think he's feeling the effects of it to at least a small extent.
She reaches out and touches his arm just very briefly. Kraus, can you hear me? This is Dr. Bonner.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. We're gonna go to med bay. I think you need some rest.
Okay. Yeah, I can go down there.
All right.
We'll get that drink later, eh, Fitz?
Damn straight, mate. Damn straight.
All right. You just take a rest here. Hold on just a second. And she walks over to Fitz and looks him up and down. You doing okay? You didn't get any tears in the suit out there?
No. Thanks, Doc. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, just for a minute I thought I saw something, but it's just space. It was space getting to me. Right? It's big out there, right? It's big, and you feel small, but just for a second.
What did you think you saw?
Fitz will lower his voice so that Kraus can't hear him, and say, "Look, I think I was listening to him too much. We're talking about bits of bodies and stuff, but just for a second, I saw it. There was just all these bodies just floating. There were just bits of bodies floating in space, but just for a second, it's like I could see what he could see. But it was just my imagination. I was scared. I thought any minute he was going to puncture my suit. It was, you know what? Your brain could play tricks on you, right, Doc?
Yes, but this does concern me. Randy, can you check on the airline and make sure that it is not kinked or somehow compromised? They were getting the proper amount of oxygen while they were out there.
Yeah, man, they can do that for you. He looks through and, that's fucking weird.
She walks over. What?
Well, I mean, I reported it like 3 days ago, man, to get fixed. But the one that Krause had, there was a little kink in there. It wasn't keeping the oxygen from flowing too bad, but maybe just enough. I don't know. It wasn't the full. He was only getting like 60%, man. That's not good. He's kind of scratching his head. The other one, though, Fitz's was fine, man. Maybe we should use that one instead. But I thought they fixed it. Eduardo came down here and fixed it. I thought he did. This one anyway.
Bonner looks furious. Captain? And she just kind of gets on the comms.
Yeah, Captain here. What do you need, Bonner? Everything all right down there?
I think it's going to be, but apparently there's a damage to the oxygen line that was Krause's, and it was supposed to be repaired, and it was not. And obviously that has caused a very potentially huge problem for this mission, so I wanted to make sure that was brought to your attention.
Oh, shit. She quickly goes over a note, seeing that it was, I'm guessing, Eduardo Krause that was supposed to be fixing that.
So you go through and you're looking for service orders for hoses, things like that in the area. It was initially reported to M. Krause, as Maria, handled dispatch technician E. Krause to resolve. Noted in file, complaint resolved.
Yeah, she was kind of thinking as they're coming back that the issue was with the hose, him seeing things, and that confirmed. She pinches kind of the bridge of her temple. Ah, shit. All right, Krasnow, get up here. I gotta go speak with the twins.
Yes, Captain.
Fitz, I'm glad you're okay. Krause, let's head on to Medbay. I want to make sure everything's okay. Oxygen deprivation is a serious thing.
Thanks, Doc.
And, Krause nods, and he just kind of starts absentmindedly walking towards where it seems autopilot, like he's not really paying much attention. He's just kind of going where he's being directed to.
Yeah, she'll, make sure he gets to where they should be going. She's got the tranquilizer in hand just in case, knowing his mental history.
All right, so you take Krause away. Krasnow's going back to the bridge. Fitz.
Yeah, so I'll turn to Ronnie and go, Ronnie, can you get me out of this fucking thing, please, mate?
Oh, yeah, sure, man. Hold still. And he starts undoing straps. It's kind of scary, huh? First time you do it.
Yeah, and him freaking out there was not good. Yeah, but we got back safe. All good. Tell you what,
man.
can't wait to get off duty and have a drink. You up for one?
Oh yeah, man. I can have a little bit, man. But if I get a little too hammered, I don't want to be drunk while I'm working this thing. This goes, we
Oh,
all go.
oh yeah, absolutely. Strictly off duty, right? Yeah,
Oh yeah, like one or two drinks, man, and then I can come back down, man. It should be a problem.
cool.
Yeah, man, it's scary, man. I'll tell you. The first time you do it, you get the heebie-jeebies, but all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah, can't say I've ever had anything like that before. I've been in some scary places, but it must be what you say. It must be. Yeah, I think my imagination just got to me out there with him because I could hear him talking about all those bodies and stuff. I must have just imagined it, right?
It happens, man. I knew a guy who was suffering from a little bit of space madness, man, and he saw like his dad or something out there. His dad died in the resource force, man. He saw his dad. This was in training, by the way, but it was like it was just fake virtual. You know what I mean? But he got so scared for real that he dove into one of these warp drives, man.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. I knew he was a nice kid too. It was weird. He's a
That is
good guy.
that is weird. Proper weird, mate. All right, look. Thanks, Ronnie. See you for that drink later.
Yeah, man. I got some stuff to take care of down here. I'm gonna try to put in another service order, I guess. But yeah, man, that should be fine.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Yep.
And
Later.
I'll walk out.
All right. So we can go like another. I know everybody's probably pushing time. We can go another 15 minutes or so if everybody wants to call it, or do you guys want to kind of close it out now?
I'll leave it to the others.
I'm good, whatever.
We can do another 15, or Gru, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's do another 15.
Very good. All right, so we'll go ahead. I think another good one is going to be Captain and the Siblings, sounds like. All right, so where are you meeting them at? Are you bridge? Or are you going elsewhere?
She's gonna meet them. Where do they usually work? Because she can check on the cams and everything, see where they are right now.
They work down in they're all around. There's not really a specific office for them. They just have their quarters, and then they have a bunch of maintenance closets and areas. So, if you check the cams or have Humbert or Fitz do it, you do see that they are in the electric hallway at this time.
Yeah, she's gonna look there, and then she's gonna quickly set off towards the electric hallway, just fuming a little bit as she's walking down.
All right. So you head down there, and you do hear them talking back and forth in Spanish and then in English, and then kind of going back and forth. An occasional laugh, but you do hear they're working on something. They do come into view. It's rather dimly lit down here, as you might expect. Uh, there's a few small lights turned on. They're kind of portables that they have, but they are down there, and you're able to find them easily enough.
Yeah, she's walking along the corridor, her feet pattering against the metal grates. And she has her arms crossed as she approaches, hearing the laughter and the occasional switch between English and Spanish. As she gets closer, she clears her throat, leaning on kind of one of these half-high walls, barriers there.
And Eduardo sees you first and pulls off a welding mask he had on, and then he taps his sister's leg. She was down inside one of the vents, and he kind of stands at attention, takes off, drops his equipment, and she gets up. And, oh, yes, Captain?
I had a couple questions for you twins. Couple of questions regarding a work order that was supposed to be completed 3 days ago down in cargo bay. Either of you know about that one?
You see Maria think about it for just a second, and then she says, there were 3 from that day. One was for a hose, and then 2 other ones were for grates that were not functioning correctly.
The hose one. Let's focus on that. Work order said that it was dispatched to you, Maria, but completed by you, Eduardo. Care to tell me how the job went, Eduardo?
He kind of looks around, and it's a simple job. It got done. What about it, Captain?
Right, did you double and triple check it to make sure it worked? Because it didn't work today.
And Maria looks at him. I'm squinting, looks at the captain, and he looks at Maria, squinting and looking at you. And I ran all the procedures. I did it twice. I tested the suit. It seemed to work. I didn't see any issue.
Do the detailed logs on your tests and the following results regarding that, Eduardo?
He kind of looks down, and you see he kind of like clicks his teeth together. It was a simple job, so I put a simple log. It hit 3 work orders, and that was it. I didn't detail it, no.
Alright, well, you need to understand exactly what happened then. And she kind of knocks a couple times in annoyance against the barrier. You know, we had our mission. We had Kraus going out into space. And he was hooked up to that hose that you apparently fixed the simple job. Unfortunately, the simple job was a fairly important job for that spacewalk, as I'm not sure exactly the extent of the damage that might have happened to Krause, but he was only receiving 60% oxygen the entire time he was out there.
Yeah, so you as you're talking, you do see Mariah looks confused. And Maria rather looks confused and just looks a bit upset about the situation. Eduardo looks to be, you see this kind of anger coming over his eyes. It's something you would be familiar with. Captain almost looks militant to an extent back in your time when you were in the wars. But then it kind of relaxes towards the end, as if maybe he catches himself. He's like, I'm sorry, Captain. I thought that it was dealt with. I didn't want to put anyone in that situation.
I know you didn't, Eduardo, but as this did put one of the other crewmen into quite a bit of a spot, and we'll see exactly how much damage has been done. But I'm gonna need to put in my logs what happened.
Well, you're going to report me to GenSec?
I can't leave this out.
And he looks like he's getting upset, and Maria is looking at him. Look, Captain, my brother is new. Can you put it against me, maybe? I mean, I was his supervisor. I should have made sure.
She looks at Maria, taking a deep intake of breath, looking between the siblings. She kind of knows Eduardo's history and that Maria has a bit of a cleaner slate in terms of mistakes and such, knowing that a small mark that she was going to make it on her record probably wouldn't hurt her as much as Eduardo. And she steps up to Maria. You're right. You're right. You were the supervisor and you failed in supervising your subordinate. You understand that, right?
And Maria nods dutifully. I do. I accept this.
Good. Because I know a clean your record is, and I hate to be the one to mar it at this point, Maria. But I'm gonna have to. And I really hope that this sort of thing, this knowledge that you could have irreparably damaged a man, continues on in the future, and you remember this. Is that understood? And she kind of looks between the twins.
Maria says, yes, Captain, of course. We will keep more detailed logs going forward. Right, Eduardo? And Eduardo looks at you hard for a minute, and then softens and nods and looks at his sister. Yes, of course, we'll keep better logs. Apologize.
And also, she has a very stern look on her face as she looks between Maria and Eduardo. As she can leave, she claps Maria twice, just on the shoulder. I'm gonna make it have fun out of this. Still be on my ship if I have anything to say about it. And afterward, she just keeps walking back. Actually, she's going to move to sick bay to see how Krause is.
All right, we'll probably close on sick bay then. Get some closing thoughts after, but we go in there, and so Kraus is in sick bay, Dr. Bonner, and then the captain. Anyone else? Or are we all doing duties elsewhere?
Not me. I'm not there.
All right. So, Dr. Bonner, you're running tests on Krause. You're trying to relax him, I guess, and the captain comes in, and you guys can take it away.
Yeah, the doctor's trying to avoid applying any more tranquilizer until she's done completing the battery of tests. She has an O2 sensor on him, makes sure that he's now getting enough oxygen. She's asking him questions, trying to assess his mental state, but I'm assuming she's getting some reduced response.
Yeah, he's very brief a lot of the time on his responses. You ask him how you're feeling, I'm fine, things like that. He's very brief in his responses.
As she's giving him the examination, keeping her voice as calm and matter-of-fact as possible, she still has some thoughts running through her head. So has anything like this ever happened to you before, Krause? Does this happen often?
Sometimes I see things.
I see. Would you say that this is something that happens to you every day, every week, every month, or just every once in a while?
It hadn't happened for about 3 months, 4 to date. So, I mean, when I dream sometimes, but not like when I'm awake, you know.
Yeah, dreams are normal. Dreams are our mind's way of processing the stresses we've experienced. That's healthy, Krause. Does this usually happen to you when you've been irregular with your medication, or is it more random?
Happens when I work.
Stress related then, you think?
Didn't really start until a few months ago.
What do you think changed? Well, it was 8 months ago since the incident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you mean from the incident?
He's quiet for a while, and he just kind of nods briefly.
Here's a strange question, Kraus. These things that you see, has anyone else ever claimed to see them as well?
And he kind of squints, and I don't really tell people about it, so I don't know. There was there's a support group I was part of for a while, but we stopped meeting up because, well, that got defunded. So they used to see some things. A soldier I knew once that used to see some things, but you mean like exactly what I saw?
Yes. Like the same things.
I mean, mining accidents happen. War happened, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yes, it was probably just a coincidence. Would you, once we're done here, I can give you something to help you sleep. Sleep is probably what you need the most of right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
So she just continues, taking some blood samples, checking out his EKG readings.
Yeah, Captain can come at any point, by the way, unless they've been there already. Yeah, no, pretty straightforward blood work. You don't really see any irregularities.
And one thing she starts to look at is, if she sees that his brain seems to function a little bit differently from anyone from the normal, other than in ways that she expects.
So what are you looking for?
Psychic phenomena. I don't know how accepted that is in this universe.
Still a bit of crackpot theories. There have been some actual medical cases that report an increased sense of spatial awareness from people who spend a lot of time in space, because they're having to work with what is essentially the kind of environment that space is. So people who are in his position, they tend to have better overall awareness. But as far as like psychic phenomenon, very few and force between, and the universe is much bigger now, so you don't really know the veracity of that. If you do search for anything, you get a couple of cases.
Right.
One of the most famous one that has not fully been debunked is the case of a pilot called Berto Singman. He was on a further system, one of the farthest reaches of space that's been explored, and encountered some old automated probes that were sent out that were strangely trying to treat him as hostile. Like they were flying into it. It was strange. Reported. And he reported being able to sense what approaches they were going to take, and was able to avoid them and report back to the ship he was a part of. He had no other explanation for it because they were not showing up on his radar. So that's one of the most famous cases that has not fully been debunked. But then again, he hasn't reported to any proper medical facility to get fully tested out because, again, he is an explorer vessel on a very, very far range. It's like it would take him probably a decade to get back. So they're all kind of waiting on that.
Well, she's heard of this stuff, and it, as a scientist, it's something that she kind of goes between scoffing at and being fascinated by. And same here. She thinks it's strange that Fitz had a flash, but she chides herself mentally that it's probably just space madness. But she does make careful notes of whatever examination she does on Kraus, and just in case, and reports her findings to the captain.
And the captain comes in, kind of looks over at Krause, looks to Bonner. Looks like those tranquilizers have worked. How's he doing?
Well, I assumed that you were aware of his history, but next time we get a newbie aboard the ship, I'm going to bring anything unusual to your attention if you don't mind.
I was quite aware of his mental history. As, though, this sort of thing's uncommon in terms of hiring for sensitive situations. Not everyone has the luxury of being mentally sound, Bonner. And they have to do with what they can. But feel free to report any irregularities to me in the future.
I'll do that. Yeah, I gave him a thorough checkup when he came in here, and he seemed stable. I suspect it's just that lack of oxygen that triggered his attack. I think he's gonna be okay.
Good. I'm glad he's gonna be alright. Thanks for taking care of him, Bonner.
Yeah. I'm trying to resist the urge to go and take a look at that cargo, she says.
Oso just stops what kind of Bonner's doing and just tackles her to the ground and just pins her down. Shit! And she takes out her gun and starts pointing it around. Get down, Bonner!
Ooh! She falls to the ground, mostly because the captain tackled her, looks around. What's going on?
And Osa's gonna look around to see if she can find the source of the gunshot she heard.
You see nothing.
She's breathing hard. Sweat is coming from her brow from that bit of excitement. Sorry. Sorry. She gets up off of Bonner and pulls her out.
What?
I thought I heard something.
Bonner starts to catch her breath and dust herself off. She looks over at Kraus. You heard something?
Yeah, I thought I heard a gunshot. Maybe it's just something backfiring or something. You didn't hear that at all?
No, but Fitz heard something out in space. She looks over at Krause. Is he asleep?
Yeah, he's getting ready to go to sleep. Pretty much, you see him kind of fluttering as he's kind of on that cusp of getting ready to sleep and just barely awake. He's not quite asleep.
She looks at the monitors. Is there anything unusual in his mental activity?
Go ahead and roll an intelligence check. It's pretty good. His mind seems, I don't know, you see, there's a lot of activity in the creative and kind of expressive side of his brain right now, which I mean wouldn't necessarily be unheard of if you're about to go into a dream state. But it's extremely high rates. Like it's going off the normal charts of development. It's like that. It's normally what you would see when somebody enters that section of sleep, the rapid eye movement. But he's not fully asleep.
She looks at that and says, "Huh." Looks back at the captain. Well, honestly, I don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem like, I don't like coincidences. And I've never seen you panic in an irrational way before.
I'm not panicking, Bonner. Just she kind of licks her lips for a second, and you can see her eye dart around. You keep taking care, Kraus. I need coffee. And
All right, Captain, before you go.
Yeah, what?
Could you please let me know if anybody else happens to be particularly jumpy or hear something that's well, that no one else hears or sees. I at this moment, and be calling it a crackpot theory would be giving it too much credence, but I think it's something we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, anyone else has anything, I'll let you know, and I'll send him down here. You can see she's just getting very antsy, and she just kind of quickly leaves the room afterwards, the door shutting behind her.
As she leaves, Bonner pulls up a private document and starts to create a log, of times, dates, symptoms. And she closes it and sits back and thinks.
All right, I've got one more that's going to be quick. So Fitz, you head over. You hear that scream, and you knock on the door. There's no response from the room.
Okay, I'm gonna call into Hombart and just say, I'm entering Macklemore's room. There was a scream. Entering now with keycard.
And Hombart's coming back over the line. Lights are out. You might be asleep.
There was a scream, sir. I'm going in.
Copy that. I'll head down. And when you enter the room, it's pitch black. No, he's it's on autopilot at this point. After everything's done, Captain. So he would have put it back on autopilot, got it spinning around. You do have Owen, who takes over as secondary duty for flying the ship as well. He's trained enough to do so as a secondary pilot. So usually they do it in shifts. All right. So it's pitch black. You smell this awful smell of just, you're not sure how to describe it. It's just metal, iron. You're not really sure. This terrible smell hits you, fumes. And you step on something and you feel that it's like broken glass under your boot, maybe.
Ooh. I'll turn the light on.
You turn on the lights. You are met with a grisly scene as you enter the room. As you look around, you see some overturned toss bottles. The table is knocked over. And up near the bed, you see horrific blood splatter marks on the windows. And on the bed itself is the corpse of Ian Macklemore, his head smashed open, bleeding out onto the floor. And we will stop there for the night.